Hello you lovely people and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a preview of the McDonnell Douglas FA-18 Charlie, which has been ported over by DC Designs. It's a freeware. Not sure of the release date, as I don't know that at the moment. But yeah, freeware. Unfortunately, it's just for the PC users because there are issues getting this onto the marketplace because for some reason Microsoft or Asobo don't like freeware. So, apologies to Xbox users. Again, it's not DC Design's fault, it's Microsoft's fault. And until there is a happy medium between Xbox users and PC users, we are going to run into things like this, unfortunately. So anyway, forget the politics, let's get on with it. So, as I say, it's a port over from FSX Acceleration. Any of you old school flyers out there will know what the F-18 meant to us back in the day. It was our first real military add-on aircraft for FSX, and was my go-to plane at the time until others started getting released. We've got a selection of liveries, as well as not just naval or marine corps liveries, but from other countries as well, which is a nice addition. So we've just got the plain Hornet there. We've got Royal Canadian Air Force, Blue Angels, of course, obligatory, VMFA 314, VFA 132. We have an Aggressor Hornet, VFC 13, Australian Hornet, and a Spanish Hornet. So, nice addition of liveries. I'm going with the VMFA 314, and let's jump in. So before we jump into the cockpit, let's have a walk around. With it being PC only and third party, we do have weapons. We've got AIM-9s on the wingtips. You've got the choice of AIM-120 or GPU 33s on the outer pylons. Inner pylons are wing tanks, and centerline is a fuel tank as well. I've got a bit of an asymmetric loadout here, as you can see. I've got the GPU 33 on this side just to show you what it looks like. So that's a nice little touch that's been added to the old FSX Acceleration F-18, and sort of brings it more to life, so it's nice to see. To get onto the flight, I will clean the aircraft up, just so that we can chuck it about and don't have to worry about drag coefficient. So let's jump into the cockpit. So inside the cockpit, having a quick look around. Anybody familiar with the layout will notice that not a lot is different. With it being a legacy fighter, it's got some old steam gauges here, so all our RPM, exhaust gas temperature and fuel flow is all read out in an old dial system, as is the nozzle position and our fuel state. Now we've got some old gauges here as well, altimeter, our vertical velocity indicator, and what is that one? Is that speed Mach meter? Okay, so and in between the legs we've got some other dials, got a clock and cabin pressure and things like that. All our electrics and lights, all that beautiful stuff is on the right hand side, and all our engine starters and radios and things like that are on the left. Now remember, not everything's going to be clickable. It is a port over from FSX Acceleration. It's just going to be a basic port over. Everything that sort of needs to be added will be added, but nothing special will be done with the aircraft, as it's a freeware. Not to expect too much, as DC Designs are doing it with the goodness of their hearts, and I believe this one may even perform better than the Asobo version, but that remains to be seen, as this is a work in progress. Not everything is going to be live, so just you know, bear that in mind. So let's get this thing fired up. I've got a flight plan filed, and the plan is just to go on this flight plan, check out how it handles. I want to try the high alpha flight, and then we're going to hit the carrier, which is just off the coast of Portugal. So let's get this thing fired up and at the end of the runway. Okay, now we're all up and running. Just a view from the outside. As you can see, we've got a animated launch bar, animated tail hook, and animated wing fold. If we go inside, you can see that we have animated controls as well. So if we put the hook up and the wing fold, watch the wings folding out. Okay, so wings are down and locked, and then the same with the launch bar. Jump back outside, and you can see everything is all cleaned up, and we're all ready to roll. Another great addition here is that the switch on the control yoke here, or control column, if you click that, it will bring up nose wheel steering. Push it again, and you get the nose wheel steering high gain, which means once you get on the carrier, getting around won't be an issue, as you'll be able to make tighter turns. But as we are on the deck at the moment, sorry, on the ground at the moment, we'll keep the high gain off. Okay, so let's make our way over to the runway. We do have controls for the flaps, so we can have them fully down, or half down, or just left in auto. Parking brake, gear handle, most of the things are animated, but like I said, as it's still a work in progress, not everything is where it should be or how it should be. So let's taxi down. Now you can see I've got my flight plan loaded in there, and we can also see other aircraft that are about on that screen also. So we have a kind of a radar, not fire control radar, but pretty close. Okay, so before we roll out, I'm going to set the barometric altimeter to AGL. Make sure that we've got there we go, that'll do. As close to 0 as I'm going to get it. Okay, so don't have to worry about flaps, everything is automatic. Let's get on the runway, line up, and make our way out onto the flight plan. Anybody familiar with DC Designs, avionics and things, it's pretty straightforward. You have all of your options on the upfront controller here. I'm going to give you a quick look through that before we take off. So on here we've got comms switches are here, what channel you want to use, everything there. You've got menu option, then we've got autopilot, so all your holds and stuff. Course knob and heading bug can be turned with these here. We've got IFF, TACAN, ILS, data link's not working, nor is beacon, and that's your on-off switch. Get back onto the comms, we'll push that. So there you go, pretty straightforward. Yeah, if you've used the Asobo F18, you'll be familiar with it. Okay, so let's get this thing rolling. Brakes off. And we're up. Gear up. Take off the afterburner and head towards our first waypoint. Want to get some altitude. Okay, turn on to waypoint 2. It's a very small flight plan that I've made, and I didn't want to make anything too huge. Pretty much wanted to get to the point, so we're going to get over the coast and try a few things before we head to the carrier. Handles very nicely. Very responsive, and as you can see we're on waypoint 3 already, but I'm going to hang fire on that one. Get this thing up to 10,000. Okay, and we're at 10,000. Level off now. Whoop. Okay, so let's do a snap roll. Very nice. Do your 4-point roll quite nicely in this. So let's throttle back. Bleed some air off of this. Okay. Gently pull up the nose. Let's throttle up ever so slightly. We don't want to lose too much speed. 16 degrees nose high. Alpha is 31 apparently. There we go. We are obviously losing a bit of altitude, but blimey, that handles really well, and it's still very, very responsive. Okay, so that's high alpha. It's a shame the camera's a bit awful in this. I've got myself into a flat spin. Okay, reverse rudder. Go to controls. Okay, and we're good. Right, let's get back on this flight plan, get to the carrier, and make an attempt at landing. This should be interesting. Let's descend, the only way I know how to in a fighter. See the carrier there? Here comes the interesting part. Managed to do a carrier landing the other day. It's been a while since I've been doing it regularly, so this should be interesting. That is a large container ship, blimey. Okay, so we'll start making our turn in.
Power.
Okay. That was not a tidy landing, but I made it. Okay, let's turn on the high gain. That was a far from tidy landing on a carrier. So it's capable of landing on the J-Shrike carriers. So if you don't have those, I'd thoroughly recommend those, as they seem to be the only carriers that you're able to catch the wire on at the moment. So definitely a good addition. What can I say? It's an F-18. It's a legacy Hornet. It's more than capable of doing the high alpha, as I've just proved. It can land on carriers. It's fast, it's agile, it's everything you want from an aircraft, and it's free. So I'm not 100% sure when the release date is. As I say, it's still a work in progress, so things are still being done to it. But you can't complain. Not with the freeware. Not like this anyway. Everything works. The autopilot, not tried yet. But if it's anything like the rest of it, I'm sure it works fine. Flight plan went in okay. Waypoint following went fine. So yeah, what's not to like? I'm sure somebody will find something to complain about, even though it's a freebie, but there you go. You can't please everyone. So, if you got this far, thank you for watching, and grab this when it comes out. Thoroughly recommend it. So, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.